Hello there, I'm Scotty. I'm not gonna do that. Okay. And you, oh, not. Sorry, I had to finish that. Yes, we are talking about The Ghost from 1999, starring Patrick Swayze, Demi Moore, and Whoop Goldberg. Oh, and some other cameos. No, Tony Goldwyn is in here. That old guy that's in everything is in here. Schiavelli is in here. The principal from the Weird Science TV show is in here. Is the banker Lyle? There's cameos, sure. So, as I mentioned, I rearranged my schedule because I had too many animated films, and I put another animated film on there, but it was Shrek, so it doesn't count. Doesn't matter. So, regrettably, so I decided instead of trying to dig through and find more movies, just to revisit reviews of movies that I done before, like the Bill and Ted movies, which I wanted to do anyway. And Ghost came up in my head. I'm okay, I can do this again. I did it during the first. Much like My Girl, I did those during the first ever birth month, and now we're back again. But here's the thing. Okay, I can't. Some of these movies I go back and watch, and I can't explain why I watched them. I have to start with my grandma had a bunch of VHS tapes that she recorded with movies she recorded out of HBO. This is another one of those HBO files, I guess. Could be its own show. HBO files that my grandma had on the VHS tape. This, Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom, Batman Returns. I think she had Air Force One, The Fugitive, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Whole bunch of stuff from the 80s and 90s she had on VHS tape. A lot of 80s stuff, not 90s stuff. But she would record them from HBO, which I wish I still had access to those. She threw most of them away, and I'm sad that she did. And Home Improvement, my God, she had like 15 tapes of Home Improvement. She would record the episodes as they were airing live on TV, and I have 3 of those tapes that I refuse to get rid of because if I ever get a VHS again, I gotta go back. She did take the ads out of some of them. She would do this thing where she would hit record, watch it when it hits a commercial, pause, right, pause it, and then hit recording in. Although you could just stop it, but and then she would do that to the commercials out. I tried to do something like that. Uh, I didn't pay attention enough to do that way. But anyway, what is Ghost? Ghost, at its very core, is a love story. A love story of two peoples who are separated because one of them has died and is now dead. But so Sam Wheat and his girlfriend Molly are walking home from the theater one night when they are mugged and Sam is killed. Right? So afterwards, though, Sam does not go to heaven. He's not ascend. He stays on Earth because of unfinished business as a ghost. Right? He finds a woman named Oda Mae Brown, played by Whoopi Goldberg, who, by the way, won a Best Supporting Oscar and a Golden Globe for her performance in the film. It says on the case, winner of 2 Academy Awards. The other one is Best Screenplay. I thought it would be special effects. It wasn't nominated in special effects. There's some decent special effects work in this film, even though they are a little bit dated. Just a little bit, because it was 1990. So, there's some pretty good special effects work. But again, this is a visitor review, so I'm going to go through it. I've already talked before you want a basic review. Go to my original one, which is probably really basic. But here, I'm going to talk spoilers. I'm going to talk as if you've already seen the movie, as if you already know everything that happened in the movie. I gotta preface that with my revisited reviews because I don't want to get any complaints. Oh, you spoil it right away. That's the point. These revisited reviews are ones I reviewed all the way and already, excuse me, and I've already spoiled everything in that review. So I'm going back and I'm, doing these ones where you should already know what it is because you watched my first review or you've seen the movie, right? This is basically a spoiler review, although I do spoiler reviews anyway, but this is me spoiling everything at a certain time. So, if you've not seen the movie or my original review, go watch the movie, watch my review, watch the movie, then my review, and then watch this one, okay? Watching this again, knowing everything that happens in this movie, how is it obvious that Carl is in on it? I don't know if I've ever caught it being so obvious before. It is, so yes, we find out that Carl is in on it later. And what is a decent twist reveal because you think he's going to go and confront this guy for what he's doing to Molly. And then, no, he's in on it. But here's the thing. So the film starts with them putting stuff into an apartment building. But and then we get the scene with the joke in the... I love the joke in the elevator because Carl just starts coughing. And they start making up, oh yeah, it's contagious. And then about the rash. The rash is contagious. So I shouldn't... excuse me, touch anyone. Yeah, it's... No one ever freaks out, though. They're just kind of quiet, and then once the door opens, they're like, get out of there, But, so, here's the thing. We find out that Carl owes money to drug dealers. $4 million to the drug dealers. So, here's the situation. Carl asks for the account number, which Sam gives it to him. They're bankers. Sam gives it to him. The next day, Sam discovers that there's more money in the account than there should be. When Carl asks him what happened to the account numbers, he said, oh, I changed it, because he wanted to do some things, so he changed the account number. So now he doesn't have the account numbers. So that Carl does now not know the account numbers. Okay? A security card or whatever it is. He then asks what he and Molly are doing that night. He said they're going to the theater to see Macbeth. And that right there is your thing. Because if you're going to see Macbeth, I can say it right now because I'm not going to see Macbeth. But if you're going to see Macbeth, you don't say the name. It's a curse. You don't say the name if you're going to go see Macbeth. And I've said it too many times, but I'm not going to see it. So, whatever. So, right? So he asks, oh, what are you doing? And he says, oh, we're going to the theater to see Macbeth. And just as they're leaving that theater, what happens? This guy comes up, robs them, tries to rob them. There's a scuffle, gun goes off, and I love this shot because you see Willie, we find out his name is Willie, running off, and then Sam runs after him, and when he turns around, he got this shocked look, and the camera pans to reveal Molly holding Sam's dead body, and it's a beautiful shot, and it still looks kind of good. A lot of the stuff he does, like green screen work, is a little bit shoddy, but it works for the most part, right? So there's that, right? And then later, when everything's settled down, and Carl comes over to help her pack stuff, she keeps trying to save everything, and she sees she puts Sam's wallet in this box with the Union Jack on it, and what happens? The next scene, he's trying to take off the door with it. She's like, no, not that one, not that one. And she takes it, and he convinces her to go out for a walk. As soon as they leave, Willie shows up. And what does he do? He goes after that box. So I do think that there's maybe movie-going audiences in 1990 couldn't figure it out, but I do think they tipped their hand too much at this because it becomes very obvious. If you don't know by this point in the movie that there's something going on with Carl, then you don't know. And then eventually, when Ona Mae Brown shows up, starts telling Molly all these things, she tells it to Carl, and Carl goes to check it out, and that's when it's revealed that he's in on it. Because of course he is. And we find out it's drug money. He owes $4 million to these drug dealers. I don't know why he doesn't. He says he needs access to it, but then later he has access to it. And he's like, okay, I gotta wait till this. Why doesn't he just give it to them? Why does he have to wait till a certain time to give it to them? It's in the account. Why? Because we have to have time for Sam and Oda Mae to take it out of the bank account. It's kind of confusing. Like, I know he didn't have the account number for the longest time, but we see him later looking on the computer to make sure it's there. So why doesn't he? And they say, hey, put it in this account, put it in this account. They do that. So I think it's a drug dealer's fault because they didn't, give it to me tomorrow, whatever it was. Put it in an account under the name Rita Miller. Of course, Sam is watching this whole thing, and he knows. I think Carl is a great villain. I think he's one of the more underrated movie villains because he kind of works in secret. But his downfall is that he becomes too erratic with everything. You know what I mean? I might know the issues. Is that as soon as that money is gone, he flips the fuck out and loses self-control, which causes his downfall. Because he freaks out. It doesn't help that Sam is fucking with him because he's figured out how to move things using his mind and stuff. The whole thing. So he's fucking with him. And then by the way, he, at this point, fully believes that Sam is a ghost and is still haunting him because at the point where he gets to the apartment, and he talks to Molly. Molly goes upstairs and he tells Sam, he goes, you have her. I'll kill her. I'll kill her. I swear to God. He tries to set the place on fire. Gas stoves. Not good. Not good. But he's like, you have the money to me. You have that check to me by 11 o'clock or she's dead. And then he takes off. I'll be back at 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock. He says it loud so that Sam can hear him. And then he and Willie go to Oda Mae's place. And it was stuck. I feel that's also tipping his hand a bit because that alerts her. Like Sam goes there, she's like, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? That alerts her. And then her and her sisters take off and he goes to Molly. Right? He says 11 o'clock, but she knocks on the door. Molly has to be convinced way too many times that this is real. Okay, so it takes a little bit for Oda Mae to convince Molly because she doesn't really believe. You call her, I know about the underwear with your name on it. I know about the shirt I spilled the pina colada on, or the margarita on, and stuff like that. And it's when he says I love you, because there's a thing where he won't say I love you, he says ditto, right? And it's kind of a running thing. He would never say that. And she says it way too many times that she doesn't hear her at the first. He's like, ditto, tell her ditto. Ditto, what is ditto? Ditto. She says it 3 times, and it's the 3rd time that she hears it. Ditto. And that's when she realizes something is up. But then, when she goes to the cops to talk to them, instead of pulling Willie's file, which they claim there is none, okay, what, did Carl have does Carl have a police contact or something? Because he's got to have a file. I'm just saying. I mean, I don't know it takes one bad thing to go to hell, but when Willie dies, you go to hell. It's got to be more than one death in his hands. Just saying. But they give her Oda Mae Brown's file. Apparently she's a con artist, which she is. This is the first time that her powers are working. And they say after Sam showed up, a whole bunch of ghosts are showing up, but she doesn't know how it happened, but it's happening. Right? So now she doesn't believe that Oda Mae is who she says she is. It doesn't help that she walks into the bank when she and Sam are trying to withdraw the money, $4 million that she wants in 10s and 20s. That guy is ready to go, what? No, cashier's check. I think a cashier's check would be best. Yeah, $4 million in 10s and 20s. I would say hundreds maybe would be easier to carry. But no, a cashier's check is better. And of course, Sam has her give it to the nuns, which is funny because Whoopi Goldberg will go on to play a nun in the two Sister Act movies. So it's a little ironic, but yeah. And I had something to talk about. What was it? So yeah, you know. But by the way, how did she get away with it? Because it's like she wrote the wrong name. She goes, oh, I need another one. I wrote the wrong name. And I'm like, no, this person doesn't question her. She just gives her another thing, and it's like, why didn't you question that? Why'd you write the wrong name down? Why would you write the wrong name down? There's no question. And she just gives her another slip, and you know. I don't know. Willie is also a decent villain too, but again, his faults are very visible in that he's just a hired henchman. I do like his death though. He's pushed into a car and gets hit, and again, they make it seem like what until he sees his own body, and then the first evil spirits come and take him down. Carl says it's even more gnarly, where they're fighting in that, in the abandoned building, or not abandoned, but abandoned floor, and the window comes crashing down on him. And again, he sees Sam. He's like, Sam? He's like, oh, Carl. And he turns around and he sees his body there. Gnarly. I can see why I did like it, because I think even that young, I was a fan of, the gore, the Connors Candy movies. Haven't already seen Child's Play by this point. I'm pretty sure I saw Child's Play before this. So I could see that, right? It's gnarly looking. And he gets taken to hell too. And again, the Ditto thing comes back here because Sam finally admits, so for some reason, maybe it's because he's going to heaven now, they can both see him and hear him. And he tells Molly he loves her, and she replies with, Ditto. I'm going to tear up a little bit. With Ditto, which is funny, and she goes off to heaven. I'll admit, though, when I was a kid first watching this, I'm wondering how he was, because I was a kid, right? I'm wondering, how does he come back to life? No, he doesn't go back to life. He ends the movie by going to heaven, which, again, that old guy that's in everything kind of talks like this, If you saw a picture, you know who he is. But he's talking to Sam. He's, oh, I'm waiting for my wife. She's a fighter, though, but it's her time. But then we see a different person die and is sent to heaven. I feel like we should have seen his wife, right? But he just disappears. I don't know. And then the Vincent Chevalier scenes. This guy is tortured. He is, because apparently he was pushed onto the train tracks. For some reason I always thought it was cancer, because when he knocks that cigarette machine, which those are a sign that the thing in the past, man. Cigarette machines, I barely remember those. I think those went away before I was even 10. Those things, cigarette machines, because there was somebody, oh no, it's bad for you, and they had to, smoking or non-smoking. But and it's even funny to watch old 80s movies and 90s movies where everyone's smoking everywhere, and nowadays it just wouldn't happen. Although to take smoking out of movies completely makes it less realistic. At least R-rated films should have it, man. It's realistic. People still smoke, right? They're never gonna stop. I'm just saying. But he's like, what I wouldn't give for a drag, and I don't know. It's his character. Chevalier's character is a little iffy to me. The first time he sees him, he throws him off the train, and then the next time he convinces him to help him train, and then it's like, okay, that's done. How do we get rid of him? He freaks out again because he thinks that Sam thinks he's lying, and then he takes off. I guess Wikipedia calls him a poltergeist, which makes sense, and why he's so angry and so violent. Poltergeists are violent, so that makes sense, I guess. So, yeah. Wouldn't it be funny if Carl didn't go to hell, but he ended up being a poltergeist that haunted that building? No, Molly, I gotta hand it to him. There are movies that did very good in the 90s. that like sometimes you get stupid sequels. Like there are movies like Roadhouse got a sequel years later, or Caddyshack got a sequel years later. You never see a Ghost Part 2 or something. And you didn't even need Patrick Swayze or Demi Moore to be in the film. Because honestly, and I don't want this idea to go anywhere, but you could have done a couple sequels at least with Oda Mae Brown being the main protagonist. Another person dies, she has to help finish their business, so on and so forth. You know? Change it up. Don't let it be the boyfriend of the person. Let it be the sister of some guy. You got to change the mystery up a little bit, you know. You could have done that. Also, there's confusion for me. Some confusion. Sam calls Carl a murderer, even though he overhears Willie and Carl talking about it. And to me, it does seem like an accident. And having witnessed the thing, it go down, I think it was. Because the thing is, Carl even said, he was just supposed to take the wallet. He did, but because he got aggressive with Molly, Sam attacked him, causing a scuffle, leading to a scuffle, causing Sam to get shot. It wasn't completely, I feel like the gun went off, kind of like in Degrassi, whatever you want to call it. The Time Stands Still, the school shooting episode, where the gun goes off. Kind of like that. I don't mean Jimmy, I mean when during the struggle. Yeah. I don't know. That's what it felt like to me. Like he didn't mean to shoot him, but it happened. But several times he calls Willie a murderer, which technically is what it is, but he calls Carl a murderer too, even though he didn't physically do it. And I know you can pull up Charles Manson. But technically Carl did not tell him to kill Sam. However, if Sam did survive, I feel like Carl would have. It would have been even harder for Carl to get away with it. Because all of a sudden, oh, it's stolen. And, oh, hey, remember how there was more money in that account the other day? Now it's just gone. What happened there? I don't know. It's confusing, but it would be confusing. I don't know how Carl thought he would get away with it more if Sam was still alive. But I don't think Sam was supposed to die. I've never thought that. I feel like it was an accident. But there's, a scene in the office where I think it's the same set for Jumpin' Jack Flash that Whoopi Goldberg was in. It seems very similar to that. Just kind of similar. Maybe offices were like that in the 90s. Who knows? Jumpin' Jack Flash is another Whoopi Goldberg movie, by the way. And I want to review it so bad, but it's hard to get a copy. It's like $15 to get a copy. It's not cheap. It's not cheap. For some reason, people think, oh, they're out of print and I gotta jack up the price. I don't think so, but whatever. Whatever. But, yeah, like, he types murderer on the computer, and he's like, who's doing this? And then Sam, several times on the computer, he types Sam several times on the computer. That's where it starts, where he starts to realize that he's being haunted by Sam. It's funny, though, because he's sitting there frustrated as hell, and Sam just like, yee, pushes back on the chair, and it cuts to him looking, and the chair is just moving by itself. He's just like, what? But yeah, overall, Ghost is a good movie. In fact, I'm going to send it to the moon. It's so good. I really enjoyed watching this again. Uh, I've been watching a lot of movies from the 90s. And it's, I don't know. I feel like movies from the 90s looked better, cinematography wise, and just the lighting and everything. Nowadays, everything is just too pristine and too well done. Back then, you could be a little grimy, a little lackadaisical with your stuff. It worked. It worked. You know what I mean? So, what are your thoughts on a ghost? Let me know in the comments below. Should like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.